Let's talk about a marks management system, right? I just want to walk you through a little bit of how we built a marks management system, you know, where teachers enter marks into Google Sheets and we get this report that you see. Obviously, for privacy reasons, I've blocked logos. I've not put children's names. I've not put children's admission numbers or the photos as well, right? So you can get this report automatically once you enter marks into a Google Sheet and hit generate. Voila, you get it. So how did we go about this? Actually, the build takes a lot of time. I think in my previous video, I talked about how it was so simple and super easy to go from a photo to a system. But there are things that you need to do along the way that take time for you to build this. And I think that needs to be calculated. The previous video was actually a bit of an easy thing. We don't have a fully working system yet, so it's not fully implemented. So which is why it was simple. The marks management system is implemented. It's been working for several months, multiple terms, all of that. So how did we do it? We said we had various versions and iterations in Google Sheets, and we were doing a sort of formula based, template, and it would output, and you can just Control P or Command P and you can just get the output. And each child, you just change the name, it will fill in the marks from the marks register and it will generate. It was good, but it was a lot of work for the teachers, right? They had to repetitively select each child and then go through the list. Yes. So we said, let's change this, let's script this using Google Apps Script. And so we built a system. Why do I call it a system? I call it a system because we do something recently we've understood. You're looking at, let's say, version 2 or 3 of the marks management system. So you can look at it as this is basically a Google Sheet where the teacher will enter the subjects and then say generate mark sheet. And then the mark sheet is generated here. As you can see, I've hidden all the children's names, or rather edited them out. And yeah, you can enter the uh, whatever the stuff. And we built the system over time. I think it took about a day to build the system, then another 1.5 days to troubleshoot and fix errors and all of that that were coming in the output. The two blacked out areas, this will be the logo of the school, and this will be an emblem. Like normally in a mark sheet or something, you will put a, what do you say? You'll put a seal of the school stamp. So we generated as a stamp. We took the logo into ChatGPT. We said, "Can you just generate this?" We had a photo of the seal as well, and we said, "Can you just generate this logo like the seal?" So we have a seal, digital seal, right, of the school, and that was version 1 of the marks management system. Now we had the template file and we gave it to the teachers and said, you can generate it for your own class, like duplicate it and go ahead. Then Fable came out, Claude's mythos level model for consumers. And so what we did is we took that folder we pointed Fable at that folder. And this is the prompt I gave. I'm not reading it out because it's quite boring. So I just spoke a little bit about what the marks management system is. I said review all the files thoroughly, such as improvements. The goal for the system is to be as automated as possible, modern, elegant, beautiful UI/UX design, efficient code, reliability, robustness. As you can see, like I told you in my previous video, security is not a concern for us because these are all internal tools. So we are living easy. We're living easily because we don't have to worry about security. So yeah, Fable had a lot of thoughts, and it even categorized them. You can see likely bugs, yeah, 9 bugs, performance, There were 3 points: reliability and robustness, architecture. So this one, it said, you're having 56 copies of extensive code. So this is one of the biggest game changers as someone who doesn't code, who uh, is new to AppScript, who's only vibe coding. Fable said, you know what, move the code into an AppScript library, and then each marksheet file will have only little bit of code. It will pull the code from the library. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I didn't even know you could do that. But hey, I mean, I didn't know you could do that in Google Apps Script. And wow, that's awesome. So anyway, fix a lot of things, UI, UX. So it said suggested order of attack. Now I said, yeah, do all of this. Again, I'm lazy. Yeah. So for the student database format, I gave it a CSV format of the database structure. So it knows how to pull the student names into the mark sheet, right? And then it checked, it built, da 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 da. It took a lot of time. It errored out because I ran out of credits. Then when I got credits again, I said continue. It kept going, 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 going. And then it finished. So it asked me to create a central admin sheet. It asked me to set up the library project and then the template sheet and then deploy. So this was the admin sheet. I put all the code into, right. I put all the code into the AppScript file for the admin sheet. And as you can see, it has created all of this. What are all the features if you want me to walk through? You can give a list of subjects. So when the teacher is creating a mark sheet for a particular assessment, they can select which subjects. So for example, let's say there's a weekly test. Weekly test might have only the core subjects, but maybe your term test, exam, or assessment will have art, craft, music, scripture, right? So you can select which subjects are part of which assessment. So for that, you will put all the subjects that your school has here. Club subjects are sometimes, I think in ICSE, and I don't know about CBSE. In ICSE board, you have multiple subjects feeding into one, multiple papers that are assessed that feed into one subject score. Like I think uh, English, literature, and language, something feed into your English score, something like that. So you can say these two subjects will be clubbed as this. So then what happens is when you're generating the mark sheet, uh, when you generate this mark sheet, let's say these were the two subjects, it will have a third subject with formula to total the marks from these two. Yeah, it's a good system, right? Then you have subject groups. I've said all classes will have a languages group, an academic group, and a co-curricular group. And I define from my subjects list, I define what subjects will be part of that group. And you can see here, languages are grouped together, academic subjects are grouped together, co-curricular groups, subjects are grouped together, right? So yeah, so that's where the subject groups go. Assessments, you can give a full list of the names of the assessments that your school runs. Exclusion rules. So for higher secondary, for example, if a child has Tamil, the child won't do French. If a child has French, the child won't do Tamil. So the idea is when both the subjects are selected by the teacher to generate the mark sheet, this one I think is showing a fourth standard thing, so we really don't have it here. But I mean, if you are CBSE or ICSE, I'm sure in grade 5, 4 itself, you can have Hindi and then do Tamil as another subject, whatever. So if you enter the mark, if the teacher enters the mark for the student in Tamil, this will automatically mark French as N/A. Basically, the idea is to reduce the work for the teacher as much as possible when the teacher is entering marks, right? Then if you want to give a list of students, you can give that here. Otherwise, we give a link to the student database. I think somewhere here. Yeah, that's the link to the student database and school seal, school logo. You can see I've stripped this of all the values of the school name, school address for privacy concerns, whatever. You can give in your student database the header of the columns that have all this data. And what is the status, all of this. If you don't want it in LKG to 12 standard order, what order do you want it in? And what is the name of the folder inside which you should place the generated reports? And you go to deployment, and as you can see, um, we've given the link to the template file I created. I told you that was the admin config file. This is the marks management system template file. This is the first one, first sheet we created after the admin file. And we just put in this data template file, destination folder, and the naming convention. And then we asked it to deploy pending redeploy marked rows. It already had the classes. I mean, we had to put the class section and say deploy, deploy, deploy. This is a drop down. You can say pending. And then when you ran the command to deploy pending redeploy marked rows, it generated all the files. And it tells you the date and time that it deployed. Now, before we could deploy though, we had to, this is the code for the template. Yeah, this is the app script code for the template. This is the app script code for the admin sheet. Now, what we had to do, we had to set up a library in Google Sheets, Google Apps Script. So we set up this library, and basically the code that was given by Claude Fable model, we had to go to manage deployments, and we set it up as a library, not as a web app or anything else. And then we copied that library. We came to the templates app script. Yeah, there's a bit of work, but I guess the end is, yeah, you can see inside libraries, it has the MMS. That's our marks management model. So if you click that, you can see we have an identifier. We linked it already, right? By saying plus, it'll ask us the script ID. So we give it the script ID and we are sorted. Yeah. And once all of that was fed in, the mark sheets are generated. As you can see, I've opened the one for 4D, right? That's the one I've opened right here. And once that's opened, I went to config. My class and section are already selected. I just have to select the assessment. As you can see, this is the list of stuff that we gave in the config, admin config. You can give a link to the class teacher's sign. You can decide the subjects, whether they're included in the total, the date of the exam, maximum marks. And if you want, this is the beginning of the school year. So as the school year progresses, if you want to include previous assessments, you can then say, okay, compare the child's performance, because we strongly believe that you should not compare children's performances with others. But the goal is to get the child to improve continuously. So compare the child's performances with previous performances. So you have the option to include previous assessments. And then you can go to the Marks Manager tab. You can click Generate Mark Sheet, or you can say Open Control Panel. That's what's open here. You can say Generate Mark Sheet. I've already done that. So you can see that it is the same. I've entered some test values. And as you can see, this shows up as red because that's a failed mark. But if you see this here, that mark is not red. Because as a teacher, I mean, there's a bit of, ideology as well, right? As a teacher, we need to know where the student is so that we can help the student. But at no point do we want the student to feel that the student has failed. Yeah. Each student is special, each student is different. And I really believe God wants us as teachers and educators to live that, not just say that. So this is one small way we do that. Yeah. Yeah. So once that is done, you can see that the report has been generated, and this is the report ready for printing, right? We've not included, for privacy reasons, we didn't include the signature of the class teacher or the principal. Otherwise, their signatures will come here, the photo, everything will come ready. And obviously, you can change the colors and all of that to suit your school. But this is it. That's how we built a marks management system using Claude and Google Sheets and Google Apps Script. Thank you for watching.